Hello everybody, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to our webinar on online payslips in Sage 50 Payroll. My name's Duncan, I'm one of your presenters this afternoon and I am joined by my colleague Alice, who will be co-presenting alongside me. We also have Ollie standing by in the background, ready and waiting to answer your questions. Now this session is one of the sessions that counts towards the Spring Clean digital badge, which you have the chance of earning by attending at least 3 of the 5 webinars that we're running as part of this series. And Alice will talk to you more about that badge towards the end of the webinar. So Alice is going to start things off by running through how to set up online services from Sage 50 Payroll and to get your employees invited to start using the Sage HR online portal. She's then going to explain how to upload payslips, both historical payslips and current payslips, and also how to upload P60s for your employees to view within their HR profile. Once she's been through the basics, I will return to take you through the online portal itself, explaining how to navigate the portal and where to find some of the key settings. And then I'll talk about dealing with starters and leavers in Sage HR, and also how employees will be able to update their own details within their HR profile that you can then import directly into Payroll. Alice will finish things off with a quick look at the employee portal and the mobile app, and then we'll run through some of the further support available, and we'll have some time as well to continue answering your questions, give you the chance to look through them, and as I say, copy and paste any of the questions that you want to take home with you. So that's what we've got lined up for you. And it is now time to hand over to Alice, who's going to take us through setting up online services. So over to you, Alice.
Thank you very much, Duncan. So yeah, the Sage HR online payslips feature, it's included for free with all of the Sage 50 Payroll subscriptions. It's just a case of getting that set up to get started. So in this section, I'll be talking you through the steps to set up your online services and some top tips along the way as well. And if you are an accountant with Sage 50 Bureau, you will have access to a portal, but this will be the online Bureau portal instead, which is a bit different. So the setup process, it's a case of working through the 7 steps in the online services settings, which you'll find either in the company or online services tasks in your payroll. So I would like to explain a little bit about each of these steps, and I'll follow that with a demonstration as well. So steps 1 to 3 are all about, step 1 is about creating your login for the main Sage HR admin user. You'll be able to sign in with an existing Sage ID in step 1. Or if you don't have one, you can also create one in that first step. We would advise that this email address for the login is a generic email address if possible, for example, admin@ or payroll@. So don't use a personal email if you can help it. And also don't use an email address that will be used for an employee's payslips. Step 2 is registering your company for the online portal. This doesn't really require much from you really, just click the button to do it now. Wait a few moments. You may be asked to log in and then you'll be registered. Step 3 is about managing access to your online services. So this step allows you to control whether or not additional payroll users have access to the online services options within Payroll. Step 4 is managing your employees and checking that they've got a correct email address. And this email address will be used as their login for the online portal as well. Step 5 is optional, and this is uploading historical payslips, and historical just meaning from a period that you've already processed in Payroll. When the first payslips are uploaded for an employee, this then creates their individual profiles on the portal, and again, their email address is their login. Once that profile is created, they'll receive a welcome email inviting them to sign up and finish creating their account, so setting up a password and things as well. And then the last few steps, so step 6, allows you to show or hide holiday information on the payslips. So if you use holidays in Sage 50 Payroll and you want those figures on the online payslips, you can set that to show. If not, you can also set that to hide the information. And then step 7, visit your online services. This is the link to your company's online portal. So clicking on this step will bring you directly to the portal. It just makes it nice and easily accessible. So that's an explanation of those steps, and I would like to show you them in the program as well. So let me bring up Payroll, and we'll go and find those online services settings. So again, that's just in the company tasks and in online services settings. And for the purposes of the webinar today, I have already set up steps 1 and 2. So you'll see they've got a tick next to them. Now, these are the only steps that will get a tick next to them. So don't worry if you've worked through all of the steps and the rest of them don't have a tick. That's completely normal. Only steps 1 and 2 will have a tick, as you are able to kind of go in and out of the rest of them whenever you need. So just a reminder of those first two. So step 1, I've logged in with my admin email address. And step 2, I clicked on Do It Now to register my company. So we'll move on to step 3. I'm going to click on Do It Now against Manage Access to the Online Services. And here I can see I've already got a few additional users. So I've actually set up a user for me and Duncan to get into the payroll. We do log in as manager, but just have the extra ones there. And just on the right here, I've specified what level of access that I would like us to have access to. So you've got the option of online payslips, which allows the user to view and access the online payslips options. And you also have the option of global changes online payslips, which allows the user to set up online payslips. So totally optional there. And I'm just going to save those at the bottom and move on to step 4, which is managing your employees. So step 4, it's just deciding which employees you want to use the online services. And this email address, this will pull through from the employees record. And it is up to you which employees you put a tick next to on the right, but this determines which employees will have online services enabled for them. You do also have the option of editing these fields as well, so you can change the email address if for whatever reason it's not pulled through or it's not the correct one. And something to note as well, each employee must have their own unique email address as well. So step 5, as I mentioned, is optional, but you'll click on Do It Now to be able to upload historical payslips for your employees. And again, at the point that you upload the first payslips for your employees, their profile is then created on the portal. So they'll get that welcome email inviting them to sign up. And you can either upload historical payslips, or you could wait until the next current payslips are due and upload those at a pre-update stage. So I will show you that other option for uploading current payslips shortly. But for now, I'm just going to demonstrate how you would upload historical payslips. So as you can see, first of all, you do have the option of choosing a date range. So I'm actually going to do last tax year. So we'll do the 6th of April 2023 to the 5th of April 2024. And that just means the employees are going to have a nice bit of history there. So they've got a whole year of historical payslips to be uploaded. Once you've specified the date range, click Next. And you've then got the option of selecting which employees you want to upload the payslips for. So I've got 5 people set up for online services, but I could actually just upload employee number 1 and 2's payslips if I wanted to, or just tick the box at the top to select everybody. And you do also have the option of including employees who are on hold, current year leavers and historical leavers as well in the view here. Once you're happy with who's selected, just click Next at the bottom. This will confirm the number of payslips that's going to be uploaded for each employee. And you would then just click Publish Payslips at the bottom. Now I've already uploaded them, so I'm not going to do it again just to save a little bit of time, but these will go straight across to the portal and be available to the employees once they've signed up with that welcome email. And the upload process can take a few moments. It depends on the number of payslips, as I said, and the number of employees as well. But for now, we'll continue with those last 2 steps. So that was uploading historical payslips. Step 6 is the step to show or hide the holiday entitlement. So I've currently specified that to hide it. If I wanted to show it, I would just click on Show, and that would change those settings. I'll just let that load. And if I wanted to hide that again, I'd click on Hide to hide that entitlement. And then step 7 is the button to take you to your online portal. So you'd click on Go to Portal, and this would load the web page for you to log in. And just notice at the top as well, so the web address is actually unique to your company as well, which is a nice touch. So my company is called Sage Webinar Demo. So we can see the web address there is sagewebinardemo.sage.hr. So that's me all set up for the online payslips and a little kind of walkthrough of steps 1 to 7. And just a reminder, your employees will get a welcome email when you upload the first payslip, whether that's a current or historical one. And a little tip to note down, that welcome email actually expires after 24 hours. So we've linked an article on this slide which includes those steps to resend the welcome email if any of your employees don't sign up within those 24 hours. And from that welcome email, they'll just need to finish creating their login using that email address and choosing a password. And then they can log into the portal from a browser or use the Sage HR mobile app to access their payslips and P60s. And speaking of payslips and P60s, that leads us nicely onto the next section, which is upload payslips and P60s. So this is a nice quick process and has the option of scheduling the payslips as well to be uploaded on a certain day, which is a great feature if you just want to be one step ahead. So in Payroll, obviously there are a few ways to upload, to produce payslips. You've got uploading, which we're going through today. There is also printing and emailing too, but actually uploading them is quicker, it saves you time, and it's way more secure as well. So once it's set up, the upload process can be done for all of your employees in a matter of minutes, and then they're available for the employee to view anytime. So we'll start with uploading the payslips, and this has its own step in the payroll process. So in the step, as you can see on the screenshot, it'll display the names of the employees who are set up for online payslips, and this doesn't have to be everyone. So you could actually test it and set it up for a few employees first of all, just to see how it goes, get an idea of how everything works, and then you could set up the rest of your employees. So it's totally up to you and your employees who's set up for this, but again, it doesn't have to be everyone. And it's worth mentioning too, even if you do have your employees set up for the online payslips, this doesn't stop you from being able to email or print the payslips as well. You do still have those options available. And just in the middle of the screen as well, you can see you've got the option to either publish on a selected date, which is scheduling your payslips, or publishing them immediately, which means as soon as they're uploaded, your employees will get a notification and be able to see the payslips once they're on the portal. So I just want to go through a demonstration of uploading the payslips now. So again, I'll turn my camera off and bring up Payroll, close these online services settings, and I'm just going to go back to the Payroll section. So as I mentioned, it does have its own step in the payroll process. But I'm first of all just going to make sure my process date is correct. So my next pay date for me, it's going to be the 30th of April 2024. And I've actually already entered payments. I've already done my pension assessment and my pre-update reports. So I'm just going to check my employees are highlighted and go ahead to upload online payslips. It does also have a step on the process map as well. So if you are a process map user, you do have that option there as well. So we've got the same screen here which I had on the slides. We've got the employees' names, their gross pay, net pay and pay frequency, along with those options on the right-hand side of when you'd like to publish the pay slips. So you do have the option of publishing immediately, which means they'll get published and be able to be seen by the employee straight away, or we can publish on a selected date, which I'm actually going to do in this demonstration. So my employees' pay day isn't until the end of the month, so 30th of April, and I'd actually like to schedule them to go up just the Friday before, so the 26th of April for me. Once you've selected that date you'd like them to be published, you click on Publish Payslips. You'll have a loading bar going across, and again this can take a few moments depending on the amount of employees you've got. But once they're uploaded, you'll be able to see you've got a message saying that your payslips have been successfully set to publish on the date specified. And from here, I can click on Login to Portal, which will take me straight to the portal login, or I'm actually already logged in, so I'm just going to pull across that portal. So here is the Sage HR online portal, where I am logged in with that main admin user, and we can see I've got my 5 employees' profiles created. And they were created when I uploaded the historical payslips in step 5 of the online services settings. On the left, you've got some different sections. So I'm currently in the company section where I can see those profiles, and I'm just going to click on payslips. And in here, I've now got a list of all of the payslips that are on the portal for my employees. Now, if I look at the top of this list, just on the right-hand side, I can see those 5 pending payslips, which I scheduled to be published on the 26th of April. So notice that status there on the right-hand side. So pending means it's still waiting for that scheduled date to come around before it becomes published and the employee can view it. And then just underneath, we can actually see previous, those historical ones which have been set to publish. So once it's set to publish, the employee will be able to see them. Now, the admin user also has options to download the payslips too. So you can use these tick boxes on the left to select the payslips. You can deselect them at the top. You could download them as a PDF as well. So we'll click on that. And I'm just going to open them. So you can select and download them as a PDF if you wanted a different view of them. You can download them as a zip file. You can delete them as well if you really wanted to. And you can also just click on them to view them there, which also has the option of downloading a PDF payslip. So quite a few options once they're on the portal, whether you want to download them, send them, print them as well. So that online portal as well, so when we click on this one, this is actually the same view that the employee would see as well. So when they log into their own portal, this is the way that they'll be able to see the payslips, but they also will have the same option to download, of course, only their own payslips. And scheduling to go up, it's just a really great way of getting one step ahead if you want to be a little bit more organised. So scheduling them to go up on a certain date just means that you don't have to worry about coming back to payroll to publish them at a later date. And Duncan will be going over the portal in a little bit more detail very soon. So that was uploading the payslips. I'm just going to pop back to the slides now as well. And we'll move on to uploading the P60s. So you can upload P60s for whichever tax year you'd like to. You just need to change your process date to the 5th of April of that tax year. And you can upload them in the payroll year-end section in a step called Produce P60s. Now, whereas the payslips have the option to publish on a selected date, the P60s don't. So when you upload them, they will be published immediately. So I'm just going to go back to payroll and I just want to go over the steps to publish P60s as well. Now, normally you would upload the P60s as part of the year-end process, which you've all hopefully done. But of course, you do have until the 31st of May to produce and distribute those P60s, so still plenty of time. So if you do want to upload P60s for previous tax years, you have got the option of doing this anytime. And I'm actually going to show you how to upload the P60s for the tax year just gone, so the 23-24 tax year. So first of all, I'm just going to change my process date to the 5th of April, 2024. And I'm then just going to go down to the payroll year-end section in the bottom left. You will get a message as well just asking if you'd want all employees who've been paid in the tax year to be included. So I'll click yes. And just double check that the tax year chosen on the first step as well is set to the 2023-24 tax year. Once you've checked that, skip ahead to Produce P60s. And you'll see that option there to upload the online P60s. So I'll click on this, and this is a similar screen to the payslips, apart from there not being the option to schedule them. So you're actually just able to select which employees you'd like to upload for, and then you'll just be able to click on upload in the bottom right. And again, this can take a few moments depending on how many employees you've got, but we'll just give that a moment. So again, no option to schedule these, but once they've been published, you'll get this message to say that they've been successfully published. And same as the payslips, you can either access the online services from here, or since I'm already logged in, we'll just get that portal back up again, and I'm just going to refresh that. So we'll go to the same section as before, just in the payslips here. But this time, to see those P60s instead, I'm going to switch to the P60s tab just at the top of the page. And here I can see the 23-24 P60s, which I've just uploaded, along with the date that they were published as well. And same options as the payslips. I can select them I can download them as a PDF. So I'll just do that and show you that. So we've got those P60s with the kind of more official layout there as well. And zip file as well, or of course just the online view as well. And that is how to upload P60s. So I just want to have a little bit of a recap of what we covered there. So we'll pop back to the slides. So to upload current payslips, you would go to the step in payroll tasks or on the process map called Upload Online Payslips. To upload historical payslips for previous periods, you would go to the online services settings, which are found in the company tasks, and you'd click on Do It Now on step 5. And to upload P60s, you'd first change your process date to the 5th of April of the tax year that you're uploading for, and then produce P60s in the year-end process. And remember, current payslips can be scheduled, whereas historical payslips and P60s can't, so they're published immediately. And another little tip as well, so employees will get notification of current payslips and P60s being uploaded, but they won't for historical payslips. And the reason for that is just so they don't get a load of emails coming through if, like me, you uploaded a whole year worth of historical payslips, for example. Just ending on a few top tips there for you to note down. And that has brought us to the end of uploading payslips and P60s. So it's now time to bring Duncan back to cover managing your online portal. It's over to you, Duncan.
Thank you so much, Alice. So you've seen some of the basics there involved in setting up online services in Sage 50 Payroll and then uploading your payslips and P60s. And I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail on the online portal itself and point out some of the key settings, how to navigate the portal, and then some of the processes involved with using HR for starters, leavers, and updating employees' details. So what I want to do with this is dive straight into a demo to give you a bit of a tour of the online portal. So I will switch the camera off and we'll bring these slides down. And to access the portal, you can either go to your company's login page, so you will have your own web address for your online services, or you can go to sage.hr/sign-in. And once you are logged in, you would usually land on the company directory. But the other way to access it, as you saw in Alice's demo, is from the online services settings. You've got that direct link here to your portal. So you can go to the portal from here, or you could perhaps bookmark it in your own browser. So bringing this back up on screen, what we're seeing initially is the company directory. But first, let's start with a quick note on navigation. So navigation is generally done here on the left-hand side of the screen. So it does start with a search bar, which is handy for locating a specific employee, just by typing some characters of their name, which can jump you straight into their profile, like so. And then you've got your main menu options here on the left-hand side. So if you just have the online services, which is the free version included with Sage 50 Payroll, you will see these 4 options. But if you have our core HR module, which is included in some of our payroll packages, or you've subscribed for any of the other modules, you will see a number of other options listed on the left. Now, the first thing here is a dashboard, which contains some useful links to settings to add company logos, to the admin profile itself, and a link to download the mobile app, as well as a link to our knowledge base, which you can access at any time by selecting the help menu that you find here in the top right-hand corner. The next section Alice went through, which is your company payslips and P60s. So I can see here that the payslips Alice uploaded are still pending, due to be published on the 26th. And then you've got the P60s on there as well. The next option down is the company directory, and this is where you can access the employee profiles, and then you do have a number of reports that you could run. So these are mainly involved with terminated employees, so those that you've deactivated because they've left the business, and also you have access logs, so you get visibility of which of your users have actually logged in recently, which of them are using the mobile app, and employees that have never logged in. Now, I just want to return to the company directory to give you a quick look through an employee's profile. So you can access it by clicking on the tile, like so. So I'm just going to go in here to employee 1. You'll see some employee information. And one of the settings I want to point out here is the access level. So by default, your employees will be employee access level. But if you have colleagues in the payroll team that you want to give administrator access to the online portal, you can set them to administrators from here. They would then have similar access to your main admin account, being able to view other employees' information. And in addition to that, you've got personal details, which are synced with Sage 50 Payroll. So when you first upload your payslips, these address details come across, some of the other contact details, and bank account information, which is taken from the banking tab in the employee record. Now, you can personalize the portal, which I'll show you shortly, to remove these sections if you don't want your employees to be able to access them. But it can be quite handy to have your records stored in HR and giving your employees the self-service to sort of update their personal details whenever needed. And of course, you've got the employees' payslips and P60s. So as Alice mentioned, this is the view that the employee would get. So they can view payslips that have been published. So we've published up to the March payslip. And they can also see their P60s. Now, what I want to show you is some of the key settings. So to access settings, you'll need to be logged in as an admin user, as I am. And you would click onto your admin username. It's up here in the top right-hand corner. And you can then click on the settings option. Now, on the general settings, you'll see your company name is displayed. And you do have the option of updating the logo shown in the header. So by default, it will show this Sage logo, but you could upload your own logo to personalize your portal. And you can also add a logo that will be used for your company sign-in page. So it's a nice way of making that personal to your business. So image files can be uploaded from both of these options. Next thing I want to touch on is permissions. So from this permission section here on the left-hand side, you've got various levels of permissions that you can assign. So looking first at global permissions, this controls what areas of the employee profiles are visible for everyone. So as I mentioned, if you want to switch off the bank account information, so it can't be viewed and updated by an employee, you can do that globally by clearing this box. And you can do the same with personal details if you wish. And then there are fields that you can choose to show or hide. So I've unticked some of these fields that I'm not particularly interested in. So these settings apply across the board, but you do also have specific settings that apply to certain roles. So employee role and admin role, for example. So you can view admin settings. I've got one additional admin. I've got Alice set up as an admin. So she can view employees' payslips and tax documents, but she can't manage access to that. And then the employee permissions shown here does have a setting, which I will talk about later when we discuss levers, which allows employees to access their payslips after termination, so after their leaving date, for a set period of time. So you can choose 7 days, 30 days, or 1 year from their termination date, which will give them access to the web portal. So they won't be able to get on the mobile app, but they'll be able to do it through through a web browser, so that they've got the chance to download any documents they might need to keep after they've left. So I'm going to switch this on. I'm going to give them 30 days from their leaving date and just save those changes. So you can explore other settings from here. Security settings, for example, is where you can switch on two-factor authentication for your employees. So if you want to give them that extra level of security, which is probably a good idea with things like payroll information, you can read more about this and you can apply the settings from this section on the security within your settings. So that is just a quick look at the basic navigation there of the Sage HR portal. So just as a recap there, we have the navigation options listed on the left-hand side. You've got your dashboard with the useful links, the payslips area, where you as an admin can manage all of the pending and published payslips and P60s. You've got your company directory, where you can easily jump into the employee profiles. You've got a few little reports you can run, and you've got your settings. So we looked at some permissions, and I've just mentioned the two-factor authentication as well. So we've had a look there at the navigation and viewing information in Sage HR. But once you've got the integration enabled, it does kind of unlock some extra functionality that you might choose to start using as you evolve your processes to become more digital and online. So what I want to look at next in the next demo is dealing with starters and an option of setting up a new starter in HR and importing their details into payroll. We'll look at the process for dealing with leavers and how that integrates with Sage Payroll, and also how to update employee information and have that sync with your payroll records. So everything's up to date and you've got really that kind of single source of truth. So let me bring those slides down again and we'll jump back into the demo. And we will start with creating an employee profile on the HR portal. Now, as you've seen, one way to set up a profile is just to set them up in Payroll as usual and upload their first payslip. And that's exactly how I created the 5 employee profiles that you're seeing here. But I do now have an option of setting the employee up in HR. And if you do have the core HR module, you can start dealing with onboarding tasks and leave policies, etc. from here. So it might become more beneficial if you do start to use more parts of the HR system. And it's simple to add an employee by clicking the add option here at the top of the screen, where you would enter some basic details, an email address, which will be used as the employee's login. And then we can confirm the employee's start date. And at this point in the process, we can, if we want to, send them an invitation email to Sage HR. If you prefer, you can clear this box and you can invite them at the point you upload their first payslip. But we're going to create the account now. And if you provide the employee details requested here, there'll be enough information for you to then import that record into Payroll. So I'm just going to add some of the missing details here. So we'll put a date of birth in. We'll set some of the settings here. So I'll pop an address line in or 2. I've already got the start date. You can enter P45 details if you have them to hand here. But we're going to go with the starter checklist. And you've got your NI number and then various other payroll information that you would provide. Now, if you don't have contracted hours and rates of pay, you can set it to 0 just to get things set up. You will need to enter bank details, but again, you could enter dummy information if you don't have it all to hand at this point, and then you can update these records later on within Payroll. So because I've entered some basic employee information, I can then save that profile. So it's validating that it's a correct format for a bank account, and that is now available to be imported into the payroll system. So you don't have to do it this way. You can still set them up in Payroll initially, but we now have information that can be imported to Payroll. Now, when it comes to leavers, obviously you would need to process an employee's final payment before you make them a leaver in Payroll, but you will have an option of importing leave dates if that's something you would want to do once you terminate a profile in HR. Now, terminating an employee will remove their access to Sage HR unless you've set up to give them access to Payslips and P60s after termination, like I have. I've given them 30 days. And it will also add them to the terminated employees report so that you've got access to that information within HR. So in my example, I'm going to enter a termination date for employee 5. So I'll do that by clicking on the name. I'm going to scroll right to the bottom of the profile. And I can click terminate. We can record the last working day. So they finished last Friday. We would select a reason from the list and add any additional comments. And then when we hit terminate, just down here, you can see it has taken us to the reports area where it's showing the details of any employees that have left. And this will now be able to be imported this last working day into the payroll system. So third area I want to talk about is employees updating their own details. Now, I am currently logged in as an admin user, and an admin could do the update on HR on behalf of an employee, but the screens look the same. So I'm going to go into employee 1. So it could be the admin user, it could be the employee doing this themselves. I'll go onto the personal tab. We can see the current address is shown here. I'm just going to make a few changes to the address. So they've moved across the river to the north side of the Tyne, got a new postcode. And let's say we've saved those details. So that is all updated on our HR system. And again, this is information that can then flow into payroll as part of an employee update. So a few different tasks I've shown you there in the demo. What I do want to show you next is the integration with payroll. So let's bring our payroll back up, and I'm going to set my next pay date. So let's say it was the 30th of April. And you'll see there's a task within the payroll tasks to import employee data. And you would also see that on the process map if you're a process map user. So you've got import employee data here. And what this allows you to do is to check for any changes that have been made in HR. So it suggests that you make a backup first. So you can click yes to run through the backup wizard. And then once you've done that, it's going to check with your Sage HR online account. And you will see here that I do have a couple of updates to import. So it's brought through a starter and an employee update. Expecting the lever to come through, but we'll maybe try that a bit later. So starting with the starter information, when I click onto starters, you'll see the employee details. So these have been entered into Sage HR when the employee profile was created. You can view more detail, and if required, you can make changes to the information you're about to import from here. So it includes the starter statement, we've got address lines, it's everything that we entered on that form. And if I'm happy with that information and I don't need to make any changes, I can simply tick the name and I can import that record into HR. So let's click yes to continue. It's then importing the selected record. If I click onto finish and come out of this screen, you'll see that employee 6 has now been added to my payroll. So for this employee, we're going to enable online services for them. It just means that when the payslips are uploaded, those payslips will then be linked to that employee's account. Now, the other change I want to show you is the update to the personal details. So currently, the employee record for employee 1 is showing the old address, like so. But when I go to import employee data, when it then checks for any changes, it tells me there's employee updates to import. So it shows me what details are stored. We've got personal and bank details. And if you view more, I can see here that it's the address that has changed. So I could correct any formatting issues if I needed to, but I think everything's looking good there. So I would tick the box and import the changes. Clicking yes to continue, and you can see that record has updated. So I just wanted to show you those couple of changes. And as you can see, employee record is now in sync with Sage HR. So I've been through that quite quickly. So just to summarize what we've just shown you there. For a starter, you can of course set up your employee in payroll and upload the payslip to create the profile. Nothing wrong with doing that. And that is how you complete your initial setup in any case. But you do now have the option to set the employee up in HR and import the information into payroll. And you can read more about that process following the link on screen. When it comes to leavers, you would terminate them in Sage HR to record their leaving details and reason. And then in payroll, after you've updated their final payment, you would either run the leaver wizard in the usual way and record the leave date manually, or you'll be able to import the leaving date from Sage HR as part of that import employee updates. And then the last thing we saw there was importing the changes that were made in HR. So as a reminder, it's the import employee data step, just right at the start of your pay run. Shows you what information is available to import. You can view, review the information, make any changes if needed, and then you can go ahead and import those updates. Before I hand back to Alice, we have seen a few questions in the chat about changing an employee's email address. So there is a set process that you would need to follow. So the steps are outlined here on the slide. It's terminating and then deleting the profile in HR, then amending the email address in Payroll and uploading Payslips to create the new profile. Haven't got time to run through that process now, but you'll find all of those steps documented following the link on the handout. So with that, I'd just like to hand back to Alice to have a quick look at the employee portal and the HR app. So back to you, Alice.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Yes, the last section of the webinar then, it's all about the employee portal and the mobile app as well. Now, whereas the admin login sees all of the employees, the Payslips, the P60s, etc., the employee has a simpler portal. So they've got a dashboard full of useful links. They've got their own profile where they can view and update their own personal and bank details. And of course, they've got the options to view and download their own Payslips and P60s that have been published. So just remember, they won't see any scheduled Payslips until their status is set to published. To go to their portal, they can either go to sage.hr and sign in with their email address and password. But another way that they can access their portal is actually via the Sage HR app. So this app is available for free on the App Store, the Google Play Store, etc. I have got a few screenshots here, but if you would like a little bit more information on the app, there is an article linked at the bottom of this handout which you can share with your employees. This article has a quick kind of 1-minute video, so if you would like to see the app in action, definitely check out that video. Just so you know exactly what to expect. I just wanted to mention this really as it is such a popular option for the employees to view their Payslips and P60s this way. But yeah, with that being said, that has kind of brought us to the end of the main webinar content. And before we do wrap things up, I would like to go through some further support with you as well, just so you know all about the other options that we've got out there. So I'd like to start with the Spring Clean webinars, which Duncan mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. And we do have a Spring Clean badge running in April, so we're running a few dates for each of the topics on the screen here. And if you attend at least 3 out of the 5 live webinars, you'll earn a free digital badge. So if you are interested in more webinars, go to sage.co.uk/webinars or click the link here on the handout. You can register for them there and check out the ones that we've got remaining this month. We do have HMRC Secure Mailbox tomorrow. We've also got the report favourites and selections on Friday. So if you are interested in those, definitely check those out. We also have the Sage Help Centre as well. So all of the help articles in the slides from today are from the Help Centre. You can search the knowledge base, you can access these support guides. It's got demonstration videos, recordings of our webinars as well. And should you need to get in touch, you also have the option to contact the experts as well. There's also Sage University. So here you can set up a free account. You can access e-learning and bite-sized learning, as well as earn product certification on the back of that too. So it's a great way to expand your knowledge on Sage 50 Payroll and help you get started with your product or other Sage products too. So that's just a handful of the amazing support that we have available to you all. And that has brought us to the end of the content for online Payslips. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And we'll bring Duncan back just to start wrapping things up a little bit as well.
Hi everyone, and thanks to those of you that have stuck around until the very end there. We are unfortunately out of time. It looks like we've answered pretty much all of the questions, so hopefully you've got an answer from there. So enjoy the rest of your week, and maybe we'll see you on the next Spring Clean webinar. Goodbye for now.